Hey there, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about reasonable compensation and striking the balance between distributions and taking a paycheck. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I'm sure most of you actually already know me, but my name is Mark Bollinger. I am the president and founder of Bollinger CPA and Consulting, which is a small business tax and accounting specialist based in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And in addition to assisting small businesses, we also assist troubled taxpayers resolve their civil tax matters, both with the IRS and the states out there, serving customers and clients nationwide. Anyway, so today we are going to be talking about reasonable compensation and striking the balance in that. So really, the question becomes is why is it important? Why does it matter that you need to determine reasonable compensation? Well, you get the privilege and benefit, right, of not having to pay taxes on at the corporate level on your profits, right, by being an S corporation in comparison to being a C corporation. So in doing that, some of the things that you need to do is pay yourself reasonable compensation. I mentioned before in another video, that there is a perverse incentive to pay yourself less, right? If you think about it, the S corporation itself, the wages that you pay yourself, you have to pay the employment taxes on that, right? There is Social Security and Medicare on those dollars, both the employer share and the employee share. So on both sides, for a total of 15.3%. So to the extent that that your salary is, say, low, then you wouldn't be paying self-employment tax on the profits that arise as a result of having paid yourself less. So there's a perverse incentive, as you see, to pay yourself less. However, you have to pay yourself something reasonable, and the IRS is watching. So they have, I'm sure these algorithms and whatnot, that look for anomalies in these systems. And so it's very important that you pay yourself something that's reasonable, because they are watching and looking for people to do that. Now, so the question becomes, like, how do you do it, right? So how do you go about determining what's reasonable? Because the thing is, the IRS does not tell you what reasonable compensation is. They just tell you need to pay it. So you need to determine what it is for yourself. And then you also need to be able to defend it if the IRS ever comes knocking. So how do you do that? Well, you need to figure out, right? What job do you do in the business? You probably, as a small business owner, probably would do a lot of different jobs, right? You're probably wearing 10 different hats in any given day. You might be the CEO for a minute, you might be the worker for another minute, you might be the clerk for another minute, and the accountant at another time. So it's important to determine what your position and what your roles are in the business. Additionally, you need to know what people would pay, for other people to do these kinds of jobs. So what's the industry standard? What would it take for you to hire somebody else to do this work? And then lastly, well, not lastly, but then also, how healthy is your business? Are you making a profit? Are you not making a profit? Is your profit very small? Are your competitors, doing much better than you? This type of thing. If you're not making that much money, you as a business, you're just starting out. There might be justification in choosing something in the lower end of the range of possible salary if there are reasons to. So there can be factors that play with that. But the thing is what you got to be careful of. The tricky part is, while there's that incentive to pay yourself low, you cannot and do not want to pay yourself too little, because that is what catches the eye, of the taxing authorities, and not just the IRS, but the states as well, right? The states get, unemployment and taxes from you and everything on your wages. So it's really important that you set the wages correctly. But beyond just setting the wages correctly, you need documentation. right? You need to make certain that you did it, that you determined your salary in a methodical way, that you have a reasonable basis, you have reasons, valid reasons for how you determined your salary. They should be written, and then they need to be deployed consistently. So for some reason, if you came up with your salary needed to be $50,000 a year, and that was reasonable for the work you performed in the business, uh, you know, you need to have some documentation that proves that out based on the things that we discussed. But then you also need to pay it, right? If you work, you must be paid, right? Now, if you're not working, you don't need to be paid wages. But just like any other worker in the business, they want their paychecks on time, and so do you. You need to pay yourself on time. So you need to make sure that that you pay yourself consistently as well. Um, Really, when you think about it, the best practices at this point in time really are documentation, documentation, documentation. So you need to make sure that you have written information that arrives at how you determine the salary. What did you look at? What was taken into consideration? This type of thing. And it should be written. And it should be done on an annual basis. You need to determine reasonable compensation annually. So every year you should have something in your paperwork, where you determine for the ownership group, for those that own and work there, how did you determine what the salary was? And if you need help with that, the best solution really is to use somebody that specializes in doing that. So use a small business accounting specialist. They're going to know everything there is to know about small business accounting, payroll and taxes and whatnot, and they should know about reasonable compensation. Okay? So if you ever need assistance with that, you're welcome to reach out to my firm. This is, in case if you don't know what I look like, that's me right there. And we do accounting, payroll, and taxes for small businesses and the people that own them, in addition to, resolving taxpayers matters, troubled taxpayers across the country and that type of thing. So if you need to reach us, you can call us at our office, 405-384-4900. Otherwise, as always, bye-bye for now.